Hi everyone, Greeno here and welcome to another video here on my Greeno Eats channel. Now, I've just been for a haircut. What do you reckon? Not too bad. And I'm in the mood for some fish and chips. It's lunchtime now and yeah, a bit peckish. So, I'm in Wareham where I've just been to get my haircut at Barnett's Barbers. Very reasonable too. And I'm going to pop to a chippy. Now, there are two chippies in the town, one of which is called the Chipperies. Not going there, even though that's a place with a lot of Greeno family history. I used to work in there as a teenager, very briefly, and my mum worked there. Even my old man worked there back in the 60s, peeling spuds as a teenager. My auntie worked there for a while too, so lots of Greeno history. But that's not where we're going. We're going to a place around the corner. It's called Long John's Fish and Chips. Now you remember, not that long ago, I went down to Swanage and I got fish and chips with mushy peas, just a small fish and chips. And it came to £9.90, which I thought was a little on the strong side for what it was. I mean, I know we're right by the seaside there. Now, what that got me thinking about was, what can you get for a tenner in a chippy these days? A lot of people have said £10 was pretty reasonable for small fish and chips compared to where they are. Others were absolutely outraged that it should be so expensive. But what I'm going to do, I think over the next few months, time to time, just pop into a chippy, whether it be down here in Dorset where I live or if I happen to be somewhere else, and just see what kind of deals are about and what you can get for a tenner. So, let's head to the one we're going to today. Right, so we're outside Long John's Fish and Chip shop now, and apologies if you can't hear it very well. Like I say, the wind here is absolutely horrendous at the moment. It's just started to rain again. It has been grim the last 24 hours. We've had hail, we've had thunder and lightning, the lot. Anyway, this chippy does some special deals. We've got two small fish and chips, or two small fish and a large chips for 11 quid. And I think they also do a lunchtime special. So let's pop in and see what we can get for under a tenner. Right then folks, this is what we've got, little bag of wonders here. And in there, we have got fish, chips and mushy peas, but with a couple of little extras that I'll show you when I get home. Got to get out of this wind. Right, so I decided to bring this home. It's just too windy and wet outside to try and eat it anywhere out there. And it wasn't too far away, so it's a bit more comfortable than the car. I can give you a bit of a better look at things. So here is the plate of food. I'll give you a proper close look in a minute. But we have the cod just here. It's not a very big piece. Being a lunchtime special, you kind of expect that. It's probably about half the size of a normal piece of cod, I guess. But it's a good portion of peas there. A nice portion of chips. And the little special bits I got. Here, we have a pickled egg. Oh, I love a pickled egg. And there's two pickled onions there as well. Now, I only actually paid for one of these pickled onions. They put two in the bag. Can't go wrong. The cost of this, I say, the aim of this is to see what you can get for under a tenner. The fish, chips and peas is £7.95. Pickled egg was 85p and a pickled onion was 55p. So in total I've paid £9.35 for this meal. Is it as good as the one in Swanage? I don't know. The fish I think was a bit bigger than the one in Swanage. You'll have to be the judge of that just by looking at it. But let's see what it tastes like, shall we? Right, first things first, we need some salt and vinegar, don't we? Now, do you do salt first or do you do vinegar first? I'm going to go vinegar. And I'm only going to put it on the chips, not on the fish. And then we're going to go salt everywhere else. All over the place with the salt. Well, maybe not on the pickles, but I know salt isn't the best thing in the world for you, but you need some of it on fish and chips, don't you? So let's cut this fish open and give you a little look at it. Here we go. So there's a nice white fish in there. Take a look. Not the thinnest piece in the world, but it's also not the biggest piece. So It's kind of like a glorified fish finger. But as long as it tastes all right, like I say, this is a lunchtime kind of special deal. You can get 2 of these and a large portion of chips for 11 quid. I don't think that's bad. The taste is good. It's a nice, soft, delicate fish. It is cod. The batter is pretty good. I'm not the world's biggest fan of batter, especially if it's too thick. This is quite nice. It's certainly still crispy. That is good fish. And like I say, I don't mind it being a smaller portion for this kind of lunchtime special deal. You can't expect to get a massive portion of fish for that sort of money. Well, unless you're up north, in which case apparently you can. So, let's move on to the mushy peas now. Now these are pretty much how I like my peas to be. See if I can give you a close-up without dropping them all over the floor. So you can see in there, they're still quite chunky. There's a liquid element to it, but there's still that texture of pretty much whole peas or slightly crushed. The flavour's really nice. And the colour is just about right. I don't know if you remember the ones that I had in Morrison's recently that were almost beige. And these are just about green, but not that fluorescent green. Some peas you could have taken to a rave back in the 90s, couldn't you? They're that fluorescent. But yeah, those are good. Really nice flavour, really nice texture and consistency. I like them. Chip time. Now that's a nice looking chip, I think. The colour is just about right. You don't want them overdone. Let's see how crispy they are. Not bad at all. They've got a really good flavour. Nice and soft on the inside. I can break it now. I don't know if you'll be able to see this on the camera or not. We'll try. You see the inside of the chip is kind of nice and fluffy and light. The flavour of that is great. I don't know what type of potatoes they're using, but it's a really tasty one. You can taste that the oil they've been cooked in is nice and clean. And yeah, there are a few little scrappy bits in there. But overall, really good chips. And a decent portion. A lot of these places, when you go for their lunchtime special, it's not just the fish you'll get a smaller portion of, but also the fries or the chips. In this case, not. Right, let's get on to our bonus items now. We'll start with a pickled onion, shall we? Now, pickles are a classic kind of accompaniment to fish and chips, aren't they? You'll get those big pickled gherkins. They did have them in the shop. We call them wallies round our way. I think they're known as different things in different part of the country. Let me know in the comments down below what you call them round your way. That's so good. Obviously, because here in the UK, we like plenty of vinegar on our chips. Anything else vinegary is a great accompaniment. Now, you go overseas and people will just put salt on their fries or whatever, and it probably doesn't go quite so well. But because we're used to that vinegar flavour here, our pickled onion, it's quite a strong onion, And the vinegar it's been pickled in gives a really big burst as you crunch down on it. But alongside a chip, that is a great accompaniment, it really is. Okay, here's the controversial bit. Do you like pickled eggs or not? Have you even tried a pickled egg before? Now, when I was 18, my mum bought a pub. And so, from an early age, I was exposed to the joys of pickled eggs. They used to have a jar of them on the bar in the pub. And quite often, people would just get a pickled egg as a little accompaniment to their beer. Or you'd get a bag of crisps and put the pickled egg in, give it a little shake around. It works particularly well with like ready salted or salt and vinegar crisps. You get a little coating of that vinegar on the crisps as well. It's a great, great thing. But I know a lot of people do not like pickled eggs. They find it kind of repulsive. Not me though. Oh, that's good. So basically, these are just hard-boiled eggs put into a white vinegar. You don't really add any seasonings to it. You know, with pickled onions, you can put other things in there. You'll put peppercorns or mustard seeds or chilies or anything like that to flavour the vinegar. Pickled egg, you don't. It's just a plain white vinegar. Cheap as you like, pretty much. But what it does, it gives a really good burst of that pickly flavour. And then you contrast that into the kind of creaminess of the egg yolk. It's a fab thing. It really is. Going back to this fish. After trying everything else. It's still great. I'm really enjoying it. Would I have liked a slightly bigger portion? Yeah. I could have bought one. Obviously I have a normal menu going. But then it wouldn't have been inside the budget, would it? This was cooked while I was in the shop, so I know it's fresh. I've got to say, overall, I'm really impressed with this for under a tenner. Right then, folks, so what did you think about that meal? Do you think that's good value for money? I certainly do. I'd say less than £10. The fish chips and mushy peas for £7.95, and then those couple of little add-ons for about £1.50, whatever it was. It certainly came in at £9.35, definitely under a tenner, definitely a tasty lunch, and that is definitely going to keep me going for the rest of the day. I don't think we'll need any dinner later on. Anyway, if you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget, click a thumbs up on there. It does help with the channel. And if you're new around here and you like what you've seen, why not consider clicking the subscribe button, ding your little bell for notifications, and that way you won't miss anything that comes up on the channel. Right, I still got something to finish off. Catch you on the next one. Bye for now.